Breakfast with Bob.
Macho Man! We are in beautiful Kona, Hawaii. It is Ironman week, our favorite week of the year. Our next guest on Breakfast with Bob, a legend, two-time Ironman world champion, Chris McCormack. Woo!
Pleasure, Bob. Always fun.
I think we were sitting in this exact same spot
Last year.
a year ago, and there was a Tuesday of race week talking about, gosh, Chris, not many people are thinking you're going to be much of a factor here. As a guy who'd won here before, you were under the radar a little bit. Did it surprise you?
It did a little, but I was happy about that. I prepared well, and it's such a difficult week coming in here. People who have, I'm in a different capacity this year because I'm not racing, and you definitely feel the difference in the energy of yourself. And you come in here, it's good to be under the radar sometimes. But I did have a bit of a chip on my shoulder over that. I knew I prepared well. I was in really good condition, and I saw that as a big opportunity to sneak something away, and I was able to pull it off.
You win this thing at 37, oldest guy to win this, and Craig Alexander's 38, Chris Lieto's 39.
Yeah.
Older guys seem to hold up fairly well here.
Yeah.
When you look at the field, who do you look at? I'm
looking at those guys, to be honest with you. I think, you've got the young boys coming through in Raylett and Marino, but I think Crowe, at 38 years of age, he's had a softer early season. I think he's looking very, very strong. I saw him up at the Specialized launch the other day. He looks a bit thicker, stronger, a lot more confident. And I think at 38, it's no longer about age. These guys are tough, and Crowe and Lieto are well and truly the favourites, or one of the favourites to walk away with this title again.
When you look at those two, Lieto's weakness has been off the bike running. If he could run a 2:55, he's right there in the hunt, and hasn't been able to do that yet. Crowe, getting attacked between Kauai High and Kauai High on the bike. He seems like he's really worked hard on his bike to be stronger in the wind. From looking, I know you're a guy who scours results. Yeah. You've looked at the results. Were you impressed with what he did in Vegas? Because his bike time is only a couple minutes down on Lieto, and that was with a flat.
Yeah, 4 minutes down on Lieto. I think Craig, he's a smart cookie. Yes. He got predictable there, and why wouldn't you be? You've done the same. You've won the race twice using a certain tactic, by change a winning formula, and you got predictable, and we were able to walk away with the win last year. But he'll make those changes, and if the guys try and implement the same tactic this year, I think they're going to be in for a rude shock. They need to readdress some other things, maybe look at other ways of getting away from him. And his Vegas bike ride was stellar. It's 4 minutes down on the best biker in the sport. You always look at Lieto, it's usually a 7-minute deficit, so he's halved that gap. And it's going to be very, very interesting. How much is that improvement in the bike going to take away from Crowe's marathon? I don't know. And he's hungry. And the good thing about Craig is he's won here twice. He has nothing to lose. And when people got nothing to lose, you can be very, very dangerous here.
How does it change the game not having a defending champion in the race? Because usually people key off the defending champion. You're sitting here with me.
Yeah.
Which is great. Yeah. Wearing your TGINR hat.
Thank God I'm not racing.
So how does that change the race, do you think? Or does it change the race?
I think now the depth's so big. There's so many people looking at each other that the defending champion is just one of many athletes who are racing. Every single year, you're reeling off 5 or 6 names of guys who can win this event. It's the same this year. Everyone's talking about the phenomenal seasons of Andreas Raylett, Marino Vohanacker. Since in 12 months, the world record's been lowered by 9 minutes, and 2 guys have broken the world record. And those 2 guys were 2nd and 3rd last year, and Craig just won another world title at 70.3. It's an amazing what happens in a year, and those 3 guys have put their hand up and said, I'm capable of winning here. And you got Eneko Lanos, who's been quiet. He had a great Texas. He's had a much softer year, which is, I think, been a weakness of his in the past. I saw him earlier in the week. He seems quietly confident.
Go,
Pete Jacobs seems quietly confident.
241 last year.
241 here last year. It's going to be a very, very interesting day, and it seems a lot milder this last week than in years past. It's what, 10:30 now, and it's not that hot, so that can change the game for some of the bigger guys, Ronnie and Mikey Weiss. It's amazing. The depth here is amazing.
So Andreas Raylett, you've studied the guys in Europe. You've raced against the guys in Europe. You went head-to-head with Andreas last year. Roles reversed. Okay. Andreas is leading the race. You catch him from behind. How is your strategy different than what he did?
You go straight past. When you catch someone, because what tends to happen is you're running someone down.
Right. You're going faster.
That becomes the objective. Get there, not get past them. So when that objective, when you're chasing, you can keep telling yourself, I've got to get there, I've got to get there. That's your destination, you slow down, but it's not your destination. Your destination is to go straight past them. So I would have gone, even if I was in the hurt box badly, I would have gone past as if this is it. This is the pace. This is what I can run. This is why I've caught you. And I think he was happy to get there. He was looking for that rest, and that gave me the opportunity to feel him out a little bit and take a chance that ultimately won me the race. I said when I crossed the line last year, he may look back on that race in 10 years' time. He won't now, but in 10 years' time, and say, geez, that was the one that got away. And I don't think he'll truly appreciate that until the end of his career.
Knowing that he's the younger guy, sitting on you, I mean, just breathing on you, sitting right behind you and waiting till you could see the banyan tree. That might have been another strategy. I think the one thing you don't want to do is come side by side, because now you're controlling.
Oh, exactly, yeah. I wanted to dictate as much as I could, and I had a strategy, but you're trying to read that other, that's the great thing about racing, you're trying to read that other athlete through their body language, through their breathing patterns, through anything. And luckily for me with Andreas, he showed what I saw as a weakness. Maybe it was just, he took a deep breath at the top of Palani Hill and he started calling for Coke. And I thought, you know what, if I was you, I wouldn't have done that. So I'm gonna take my chance here. And once, the thing about winning this race, or any race, but this one in particular, you got to be prepared to pull the trigger. And when you pull that trigger, that is your run. And
no backing down.
No backing down. And that was my commitment. And I think, you know, looking at this year's race, you know, Craig Alexander can pull the trigger. And Andy and Marino, they haven't been able to do it here. So that you can question yourself a few times. You've had the problems out there on the course, and you start to go, well, is this the right time? And that could be the difference between winning and losing this race.
When you were cramping, were you cramping?
Yeah.
Okay.
People are like, oh, was that a mind game? I'm like,
you psyching him out?
No, I always get a cramps in my diaphragm from the panting. You know, you try and concentrate on rhythm a lot, and you know, your diaphragm opens and closes to allow you to breathe, and sometimes you get a spasm in there, so you just push your fingers up under your rib cage and you try and push in there and it goes away. And geez, that last mile last year when I was committed, I was panting and panicking and you're not breathing properly, and I started getting a stitch, really tough stitch, and I'm thinking, not now, you know, like I was too scared to look behind me because I didn't know if this guy was in full flight, he was 10 metres behind me, or, and I was just, you know, honestly, that last mile, I kept thinking of my whole career. It's amazing what goes through your head when you're in that type of state. And I kept saying, this is every day you've been away from your kids. This is every day Dad took you to the track as a 10-year-old and a 12-year-old. You know, you're just drawing anything to give you the nerve and the push to just keep fighting. It's only 5 minutes of your life, and my whole career, you know, it's quite bizarre, but my whole career came down to a mile, really, in the end. Last year, I look at that little mile and think, wow, what a difference a mile makes.
But also, the amount of time you spent on this island training, you knew every square foot of that last mile. Yeah, I
really did. And I over the years, I've learnt this race, more than any race, as you know, has given me every single high and every single low you could possibly have in racing. And you quickly learn over time that the race finishes at the pier, and you need to get to that pier, no matter how you get there, whether it's crawling, walking, running, as quickly as you possibly can, because the event can change like that for anybody, whether you're, you know, the greatest ever have walked here, have been humbled here, and I've learned to respect that, definitely, about this race.
Macca, it was so cool to see you win that second title.
Cheers.
And not that many people have won here twice.
Yeah, that's nice. I'm very happy about that myself, and now I can sit back and watch what the guys do this year, and who knows, I may say something stupid again and you might see me back here again.
Chris McCormack, two-time champion, who just committed to racing here next year. We are so excited about that. This is Breakfast with Bob. It's Kona, Hawaii. It's a countdown to the most important event in the sport, and who better to count us down? The one, the only, Poncho Man.
Someday I wish upon the star, wake up where the clouds are far behind. Breakfast with Bob. Well, guys,